We're coming in hot to give you our hot takes on all the latest mental health news.
From headlines and memes to developments and breakthroughs.
We go into this show blind with the hopes of learning something new.
Before sharing some bunny hugs.
And leaving with our eyes wide open. I'm Nick.
And I'm Todd. And this is Mental Health Headline Hot Takes.
We're glad you're here. Everyone, welcome to another episode of Mental Health Headline Hot Takes. Hot Takes. I'm Nick. I'm here with Todd. We're glad you're here. And today we are going to be covering two new stories.
Okay, spinning the wheel. Boom. Oh, it's on Nick's choice.
Oh, Nick's choice. Well, I say I went first last week and you were graciously able to hand it off to me. So I'm going to hand it to you to go first.
Oh, aren't you kind?
I certainly try.
Okay. This one is called See How Listening to Taylor Swift's Sad Songs Could Be Your New Mental Health Hack by Stephanie Stahl. You said, oh, goodness, is this one you were going to do?
No, I was just talking about this with my boss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, literally like right before we started recording today.
So this is from CBS, and many of Taylor Swift's new songs are about breakups and being brokenhearted. Experts say sad lyrics can actually have some health benefits. Who's this? Some Swiftie says, I think music can be a real conduit.
Some Swiftie.
Oh, no. Ariana Gallagher, she's a trauma expert. I'm guessing
okay.
she's a Swiftie, too. I think music can be a real conduit for processing our own emotions. When I feel sad, I think there's a gravitation sometimes towards solitude, but we don't want to feel alone. And, well, we've kind of touched on this even in our last episode there about how knowing that other people feel the way you feel is kind of a nice thing. But even if no one else knows exactly what you're going through, to know that someone else has been through something similar and came out on the other side, to be able to sing about it is kind of remarkable. And to have a private jet and get to go anywhere on Earth at any given time. I added that part.
I didn't think so. I didn't know.
To notice that relief on the other side of it when you have sort of gotten through it and you start to notice some other feelings rising to the surface, it's almost like a fever breaks, says Swiftie and trauma expert whoever I said her name was. I'm kind of picking obvious stories lately. It's like, no kidding. I mean, when I was younger, I would actually listen to, I would sit for hours and listen to like Metallica and like bands like that. But yeah, I mean, go figure. Music that you enjoy makes you feel better.
Well, I think what's interesting about this, though, that I find a little bit different is I feel like for some reason Taylor Swift is super relatable. I find myself feel like I'm relatable to her too, or I relate to her as well. So I think that's one of her gifts, and one of the reasons she's been so successful is her ability to be a billionaire with a private jet that can literally just spend money on a private jet like you and I would spend money to drive to the grocery store, and somehow managed to still be so relatable and simple with her lyrics, and her ability to storytell across albums is just genius. Like I admire her storytelling capabilities. And I think what makes it so interesting to me is that not only is she relatable, but that she's reaching people who literally have no experience whatsoever going through what she's gone through, but she is still relatable and they still find value in that. And I think one of the things that I know when I listen, and I don't listen to a lot of music, although I did listen to the Tortured Poets Department because I'm a Swiftie. Like, admittedly, I love her, but I find that, and again, I couldn't name you two songs. But I found myself, and I even made a Instagram reel about it when the album came out. Like, I found myself getting choked up a little bit. And I'm like, Taylor Swift and I have completely different experiences. But like, there were lines in Fortnite that, which was the first song, that I was like, oh my God. And I had to like stop for a minute because I was tearing up because it was so relatable. So I get that. What I find interesting myself is when I have to be in such a perfect mindset to be able to like listen to a sad song that's going to make me sad. And I think it's interesting that people are kind of like finding that value in it, because for me, I know if I'm sad and I listen to a sad song, like that's not a good thing. That's not a good move for me.
Well, I think in some ways it's validating. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this billionaire it still
She's
goes
just
through
like
this
us.
stuff. Yeah. Just like Trump. He's just like me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I bring up Trump every time. I think at some point.
You're obsessed with Trump. You are obsessed with Trump.
It's because he's so relatable. He's just like me. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's part of it too. It's like, well, I mean, I don't know any of her stuff really, but I do know lots of people that have, from like 13-year-old girls to 40-year-old men, that love her music. So
I'm not 40.
I wasn't talking about you.
Oh, okay. It's like, don't 40 me.
What's that? No, this is a different guy. He also has a podcast, though. Nah, I don't know. I was just making. Probably there's a 40-year-old guy out there that also loves her music. So I guess it's relatable. But I mean, I could write a song about soup being really hot and everyone could relate to it too.
That's true. And if you've ever accidentally eaten hot soup, that is something
maybe it's just so generic. That's
normalize the trauma of a burnt mouth, right?
Or maybe her music's so generic that that's what makes it so relatable. Sorry, I'm just kind of being a anyway. But yes, she's pretty and she has nice songs.
I mean, I've had a huge crush on her forever, so she's definitely beautiful.
Really?
I enjoy. Oh my God, yes. Even back when she was like Teardrops on My Guitar, that's the first song I heard from her. I remember. It's funny you say that. I remember where I was when I heard that, and I was in a Home Depot parking lot during lunch at my first job out of college, and I heard this song come on, and I'm sitting there in the thing, and I'm like tearing up. I'm like, I want to be the reason for someone's teardrops on their guitar. And I was just, ever since then, again, it's funny though, because that's the relatability, right? It's so weird.
Ooh,
yeah.
You love her.
I mean, before Travis Kelce and all the other guys she's dated, I always felt like I would be a good, stable thing for someone who's kind of got a lot going on. But I digress.
You proved that wrong.
I proved that wrong.
I'm sorry. It's more work than you think, apparently. Maybe if there were a billionaire that had problems, then you'd
trillionaire. Maybe it's just a millionaire. Maybe I can't go beyond the millionaire.
Yeah. That's billion's a little much. Anyway,
yeah. So your takeaway is that people who listen to music that they like feel better. I agree. For the most part. Why not?
Good. I'd really come at you if you disagreed. The Canadian Centre for Addictions believes in being the home away from home you need to begin healing. From private rooms, residential treatments, and caring support, their luxury rehab centers offer the best inpatient care. Here, you decide how much you would like to finance, whether it's the entire amount for treatment or just a portion, and what repayment terms fit your needs, from 6 months to 6 years. 5-Star Care helps our residents learn how to lead 5-star quality lives. To learn more, please call today. What you got there?
So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about Chicago. Mine is in
the band?
No, my city. So
okay.
My story today is from Book Club Chicago, which is a local media outlet. And the headline is Logan Square's long-awaited community mental health center opens. And this is yours, as in quotes, which we'll get to in a minute. The voter-approved Center of Hope offers bilingual, affordable services such as family therapy to the residents of Logan Square, Avondale, and Hermosa. So one of the reasons I want to highlight really quickly, those are very diverse neighborhoods in Chicago. So the fact that they're offering bilingual and affordable services is a very big positive. But
so English and French.
Right. It's probably Spanish.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We have a very, very large Hispanic population here in Chicago. It's actually one of the reasons we have like some of the best Mexican food. Not even just Mexican, but in general.
Latin food.
Right, all of it. But yeah, so this is interesting because one of the things that has been so troublesome here in Chicago, and I think I've talked about this before, is we've had several mental health facilities close over the last 2 decades that were very important to the community. And, along with that, we've seen the trends of violence and domestic issues and any crime you can imagine impacted by, a person's mental wellness. So this was
Addiction, probably.
Addiction too. Yeah, absolutely. And so this I thought was really a good sign because our mayor, for everything he does well and everything he doesn't do well right now, and he's a pretty polarizing mayor coming out of his first year, but one of the things he ran on was a program called Treatment Not Trauma. And the idea was that we would reopen these mental health facilities and we would make it more accessible to people who need it. We would have crisis counselors available for domestic issues instead of just sending the police, things like that, to try and treat people with mental illness and mental health challenges, as if they're human beings and not as if they're something that is expendable by a police officer or not worthy of having accessibility to mental health services. So I'm happy to see this, and just seeing this one in Logan Square, by the way. Logan Square is the neighborhood next to me. So this is right in my own backyard. It's about two miles away. So hearing this was great for me. And it kind of like reinvigorates my belief that we're actually investing in this city in helping people with their mental health and making sure that we have, high quality, trauma informed, culturally responsive. I think they say all this in the article too. But just the fact that we're opening these centers in this time when you and I talk every week in some way, shape, or form about how many people are struggling and how it's getting worse. So this is a bright little ray of sunshine. I think that I'm happy for my city and I'm happy for the people of Logan Square.
Nice. Good on your new mayor. I just hope that, 3 years from now, if there's a new mayor, it's like everything good some other mayor just takes away again, which is a whole other mental health problem. Right. That I'm dealing with my kind of local governments. But there's an election coming this fall, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I think it's important to this is like the part of activism that is a little bit new to me. I've always been sort of like in the political campaign, canvassing, talking to people, hosting events as I got older. But I think that this kind of on the ground, these services are really important to spend time on because it isn't sexy, right? It's not, the accomplishment is almost like the beginning. Whereas if you're working on a campaign and then you get your person elected, it's kind of like we won, right? Even though that should be the beginning. So I think like seeing some of the outputs of the work people have done is really good to see here, especially when it comes to just mental health in general here in Chicago, as we've had, so many issues over the last several years.
When do they project it to be open and operating?
So it is, I think it's open and they're expecting it. I know I did read they're expecting it to be fully staffed by August. So we're still a few months away from that, but I still think that's awesome, right? Like that's pretty quick if you think about it. It's not like everybody wants to, jump ahead and work in a government funded mental health facility if you've got like a private practice or something, right?
Would you ever consider volunteering or like stopping in and like to get that view, that boots on the ground view?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually do plan to stop in there at some point and see if there's a way to get involved.
Because that was something that was very satisfying to me. When I started advocating 7 years ago or something, I used to do like rallies, and I didn't back any particular politician, but it was very political. It was like rallies and going to the government buildings with picket signs and like more money for mental health, coming home and feeling like I just did absolutely nothing. It was like, you know what I mean? It was like trying to change the world by walking around with a sign. And then I started to work at addictions after I got sober and stuff, and worked boots on the ground one-on-one with people. And it was way more satisfying, because it's like you can actually see the change you're making as an individual to another individual. And it's like, okay, I'm actually changing something. I do think you do still need those people that protest and, lobby and do all that kind of stuff, but it just wasn't, it was less satisfying for me doing that part of it. So yeah, I'm curious, once you do spend some time there, your thoughts.
Yeah, that's great. And I'll be sure to share those. I think what I really like about kind of what I've done in the political areas, I kind of like talking about the problems and the solutions. And I think that's like more in my wheelhouse, but like, I also want to hear, I think there's value in hearing from someone too, like what their experience was like, and then how something like this is helping them, but also like, what is their view on this, right? Like, what do they think about publicly funded mental health facilities? Because where would they go if they didn't have that? Or do they have other options? The answer is probably no.
The other kind of neat perspective are the people that are working there too, because quite often they can see where the gaps are, or like where, like what is lacking and what is working well, because they've been there for a while, or, they've been doing it for a while. But yeah, that's something I didn't do, was ever come up with solutions. I was just the angry protester guy. Well,
I'm that.
I never had solutions.
I'm that with my mouth. I'm that with my mouth.
Yeah. And I remember being interviewed a few times on, with the local media and stuff, and I wouldn't have answers. I'd just be like, more money for mental health. They're like, where do you think specifically? I'd be like, I don't know.
I got a bad connection. I'm out.
Yeah. Just more money. Okay. And then, once I started working boots on the ground, then you do get to see the inside scoop, and then you do realize where money should go, where money is wasted. So yeah, totally
agree with that.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Chicago, in that area. I forgot the name
Logan
of that
Square.
area. Logan Square.
Woo!
Well, if you ever go to Chicago, I'll get a bed and breakfast there.
There you go.
Logan Square.
There you go.
Right on,
great.
buddy.
All right. Another great episode in the books. High five.
Yeah. All right. If you guys have any articles or any thoughts or any hot takes on our hot takes, or you just want to say hello, we have our contacts in the show notes there. And yeah, just let us know. We're always curious, and it's always nice to interact with people that are listening.
Heck yeah.
All right. Till next time.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
This has been our Mental Health Headline Hot Takes.
We're so glad you came.
Remember, when you heal yourself,
you heal the world.
Be sure to like this video, leave comments, and suggest articles for future episodes.
Hit subscribe to Eyes Wide Open
and Bunny Hugs and Mental Health.